Okie dokie, it's Teresa with Indigo Moon Arts, moving on to our next segment in the creation of an antique vintage type decoupage bottle. And this is the bottle that I'm working with. She is currently dry, and we are getting to do blending and backgrounds. How we make the image disappear and blend into the background. And as you can see, she's adhered very well. What I do is I blend the background to the image. So I'll bring it from the back of the bottle to the front of the bottle. And then when I get close, I'll leave some space around a border. And then I will start blending from the border out. So it's kind of a two-step where you're doing the back, you're getting all the way to here. And then once we get close, of course, I am going to bring it to the edge. And then we're going to bleed out, and then we're going to stipple out, and we're going to stretch the background. So not only are we bringing the background to the image, we're going to bring the image, we're going to blend the image out more so that the actual background is about 1/2 inch beyond the picture. And I'll show you. The most important thing here is not to be so super critical. You're making it match, you're making it complement, you're not making it exact. These are the colors I've chosen for this background. We have kind of like a pale pink. It's a little bit pinkier than I like, but I'm going to dull it down with some of this brown. I use chalk paints, and with a mix of the deco art paints and folk art paints. The reason is the chalk paint brings the chalky, rough feel to it, which I absolutely love on the bottles. That will go away under the varnish. Once you varnish, even if you're using, I think varnish is mostly a satin. I try to find mattes, but it ends up with a sheen. So we have a pink, we have a brown, because we always need a dark brown. Dark brown is kind of significant with aging. I have just kind of like a regular type of beigey. You can see that's one of the colors in the background. And then this, it's called patina, which is one of my favorite color blues. It's what copper kind of turns into. Anyway, I've said this before in another video, and I'll say it again. I like to keep a bottle of water, a spray bottle. I wet my paints down because I don't always put lids back on directly. And I also like my paint to be a certain type of consistency. Paint moves best with the proper amount of water and paint. It also depends on how opaque or transparent it's going to be by how much water you use. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to start with a tiny little bit of black. If you've watched some of my videos before, you know I like to use my lids. That is strictly, it's a time saver and a material saver. You know, usually my lids are dry, or I use enough paint that by the time I put the lid back on the bottle, whatever is happening up here is dry. It's just something I do. It's not that I recommend it. If you don't, you know, you can use a little palette. They sell these like 6-pack at a dollar store. I use them sometimes when I'm blending. Anyway, so the size brush that you pick is important, and how much water and all is important. This is a bit of a smaller jar than the last one I did. Anyway, so I think for the background, I'm going to use this size brush. And these brushes are nice and loose, and they have a lot of flexibility versus a stipple brush. For example, these are stencil brushes. They're hard. You see, you have to push on them. This has very little give. This has lots and lots of give. That's the kind of paintbrush you want to use for a background. I always wet my brushes. A wet brush moves, a dry brush doesn't. So I'll dip it in, I'll get it nice and wet, make sure it's clean, and then I use my fingers and pull the water out. I don't know if you can see that, I'll move again. Anyway, that's how I do my brushes. You know, pull the water right back out. Now I know by doing this that my brush is exactly the point where I want to start. It's damp, it's moist, it's not dripping, and I know when I dip it in the paint that it's not going to fall off the brush. The paint is pretty thick. Chalk paints tend to run thicker, more of a consistency like dried out pancake batter. It's real thick. So now I'm going to dip it back into the water because I know my brush is going to hold it, because I know from dipping it using my fingers to pull the water out and then put it back in. I know exactly how wet or dry it is. Now I want the paint to move. So now that the paint, which is thick, is on the edge of the brush, that's why I decided to go back and add some water. And you can see it moves pretty well. Now, when it's translucent like that, I know that I have too much water. So I just go back and dip my brush again and just keep going over top. And when it starts to get thick and it stops moving, I dip it back in the water just a little bit. All I'm doing is I'm spreading the black. Hopefully you can see that. And you can experiment a little bit. Doesn't hurt with you know, that is the difference between people that are very effective at painting and people that struggle, is simply knowing your brush, how much water, how much paint. It's a learned thing. Practice. You know, you just get used to it. You know that if you have this much water, this much paint, this result is going to happen. You definitely don't want your paint to be translucent. Not for this technique. This is all that I'm going to make black. I'm going to stop here with the black. And as I will always say in these blending videos, you can only blend with wet paint. So if you put paint on your bottle like this and you get up and you decide to answer the door, go to the bathroom, change the music station, whatever it is that you're doing, and this dries, you cannot blend dry paint to wet paint. It'll just paint over top of it. So that's the kind of key critical thing here. Now I think what I want to do is I want to go to my brown. I'm basically kind of antiquing a little bit. I'm just making an aged look. So my next color I want to work with is this kind of taupe. And I'm going to take some of that off. I know I'm not going to use a lot, but again, since I tend to use my bottles, good, bad, or indifferent, I do, I'm going to take that off, that nice little wad of paint there, and then I'm going to go right to where I'm working. And I'm putting my brush kind of half on what's already painted. So I'm touching the black, and I'm just touching it. And I'm going to dip a little bit of water because I can tell my brush is dry by how it went on. And by adding it, that's all I'm doing. I just added the beige brown paint. Okay, and again, I'm using my lid. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm touching the black where it already is. And I'm just going back and forth. I'm not doing anything in particular. I'm just adding brown paint to the black, making sure my brush stays the same amount of wet. Just adding the brown to the black. Just widening. I'm just going out a little bit deeper. I'm not going back into the black. I'm strictly adding the brown. And it kind of makes a gray. It does. It makes like a gray. But if you're not using white, you're using brown, the color is different. It's not a true gray. It's like a brown gray, which is why we're doing it that way. And basically all I'm doing is going over top to blend that line out. I'm just working kind of in the same area, adding the brown. My brush is doing a lot of the work. By adding the water, it's kind of changing the colors for me. And I'm not going too far back over what I've already done, just a little bit. The other thing is when this dries, it will soften. So if you have a bit of a line, not a super hard line, but it will soften. You won't notice that when the paint dries. Now I'm going a little bit wider, which means I'm adding more brown. I need some of that black to go away. So I'm putting more of the brown back in, right? And then I'm going to go to the gray. More brown, just adding till I'm happy with how it's blended. All right, and then I'm going to go to the gray. That's it. That's all I'm doing with the brown, just blending it out a little bit. Blend. Okay, now I'm happy. All right. So I'm done with the brown for now. Just going to move this over here, and I'm going to my gray. And I'm going to my gray because my gray is lighter. Now I definitely have some contrast between the black and the brown and the gray. This is really, really dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple squirts of water, put my lid back on, shake her up, thins it out a tiny bit, not much at all, because that amount of water for the amount of paint that's in there, but it just gives me a little bit more on my lid. Put that down. I'm going to dip my brush in water because I need it to move, and I'm going into the gray, okay? And I'm putting a lot on. Did you notice? Now I want to spread this out a little bit more, and I'm going right to the front, okay? Because my colors, my brush is too wet. I can tell instantly that my brush is too wet, and it's because I don't have paper towels. Hold on. I'm sorry for walking away. Let me grab a paper towel. I was unprepared. I think I used my paper towel last time for something and didn't get another one. I can tell that my paint is too wet. So this is a teachable moment. You see how it didn't go on? You see how you can kind of see through it and there's wetness? Yeah, no good. I shouldn't have picked the bottle up from the back because now I put my fingerprints in it. Look at that. But you know what? It doesn't really matter too much because I'll fix it and I'll show you how to fix it. All right, anyway, so this is definitely too wet. I have entirely too much water on that part of the bottle. But this is good because look, we're blending and it's moving, but you can see the water bubbles. So I didn't dry my brush enough, and I'm doing this on purpose to show you too, so that you can know what not to do. This would have been better had it been a little less water, but it's okay. I now have my paper towel if I need to dry it off. But I'm just blending. I added more of the light gray. I'm going to keep dipping my brush. That's the difference. The brush is doing the work for you. You can go back over top, but notice I'm not going all the way that way. I'm only going to the areas most done. So that means the blending is partially happening on its own, because when you keep going over top and over top, that's where you run into, you're changing the entire color rather than blending. So I'm fine because I'm sticking in kind of new territory. This is too wet, you can see, but it's okay. You can fix it. That's why I'm going out. See what happens if you go out too far? But I know that part of my brush I'm going to stay away from. There we go. Pulling that back in. Yeah. I can fix all of that. So, we're going to run to the line. See what I'm doing? Dipping in. Hopefully you can see that. Dipping in. Pulling up. I'm too dry now because the paint is, see how it's skipping and leaving white space? That means I'm too dry. Now look, I wet my brush a little bit. See how it's filling in the gaps? Gonna go back that way. Your brush should never drip. That's, unless you're doing something specific, it should never drip. And I'm just going to make sure there's all the bottle is covered, that there's no white clear spaces. Here, I'm going here. And I'm going back over top. It's okay if you touch a little bit of the image because you're going to go over that anyway. Brush is a little too dry. Only the tip. I am dipping the brush in just a tiny, tiny little bit. And sometimes I could dry it off using my palette there. But watch, just going up against the line, up against the line. Can you see that? Just go up against the line to make sure there's no space between the image and the bottle. Okay. Now we have full coverage. Now I'm going very lightly. My brush right now is barely touching the bottle because I'm blending, right? Now I'm going to go up to the top. This is hard to do on video. Okay, here I go. Too dry. It's too dry. Just dab a little bit. I'm going to dry it off in this rather than using a paper towel. Okay, we're getting there. And you see just the natural change in color. It's kind of doing some of the blending on its own, which is great. So now when I'm trying not to put paint on the bottle, okay, so I don't want to add paint. I just want to blend. I'm going to put a little bit of water in my brush. I'm not dipping any more paint. I'm just going over areas that I want to smooth out a little bit, want to make sure they're fully covered. I'm dabbing where the texture on the bottle is, where there are some holidays, they call them, or little gaps. Going back over. Okay. Now, I'm going to dry my brush ever so lightly. It's got too much water on it. And now I'm going to go back and just go over some of the spots that I did to make sure that I've got everything up here. I'm just going to go over the same spots. It blends. I'm not putting any paint on the brush. Okay. Some of these require decisions, right? So how do I know? It's very easy to watch somebody do something, but I'm the one that's making the decisions. So when you're doing this on your own, and that's where things change, where you go, well, wait a minute, what decision do I make here? What should I do next? That's what makes the difference. Like, I'm a great pool player if somebody's telling me where and how to shoot the ball. But if I'm left to my own devices, I don't do such a good job figuring it out. So that's part of the process that of evolution in your crafting and art, is knowing how and when and editing, and that comes from trial and error. It comes from practice. So I know what decisions to make because I've been doing this a long time. I kind of know what's going to happen before I do it. All the time? No. There are times where I'm learning and discovering in the same moment, and sometimes it works out for me, and other times it doesn't work out for me. So that's going to be the same for you. So don't get down on yourself. Now, I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to dip it in the black to cover this little mess that I made. Now you can see that it's going to be, I'm just tapping it, okay, because my bottle is going to be kind of distressed anyway. You know, I'm going back in the black, just putting some more black on here. It doesn't matter. You're not even going to see all of this. That's some white come through, great. Because guess what? Our goal is to make this bottle look aged anyway. So you can be a little imperfect. Now I'm just going back and okay, look, I'm just blending stuff in. Blending is a series of going back and forth over top certain parts, not the whole thing, pieces, half. So when you touch part of what's already painted, you're going to add to it, right? You don't go over the whole thing, and you look what colors are presently there when you pick a color and you go, is this gray, is this black? Do I want to change it? Do I want to add? Like right now, if I want to blend, see, I have no area to grab here. Right now, my brush is really dry, you can tell, because of the way it looks. And if I add gray, watch what happens. It's going to be gray. See, it's really gray, but that's okay because I want to distress it a little. Now, we can actually distress here if you'd like. Let's just, this isn't the way I would normally do it, but for the sake of experiment and showing you how stuff works, if I take this semi-dry brush, it's not dry, but it's drier than it has been for moving paint, and I dry it a little bit more. Look, taking water out of it, now it's getting drier and drier and drier. Now I have a really dry brush, right? If I dab it in the area that I used to remove excess, it's probably got some light gray. And if I tap it in to the paint in the middle, like the part black, part gray, and I just keep going over top, what will happen is it'll kind of blend in stipples. See this? I hope you can see this. Yeah, you can see it. I should be a little closer though. Let me see if I can move this a little closer. Yeah, so if I do this, like this, it'll blend that out a little bit. So all you do, if you just keep going over top, it will blend itself out a little bit. That's another blending technique. And again, since the back of the bottle is going to be distressed, it's okay to do this. You could do this now. You could do it dry or wet with the stippling. My brush is still wet. I'm going very, very lightly. I'm going back and forth over top, black, gray, gray, black, and it's mixing the two colors together. The brush is doing all of the work. All right, that's it for now on this particular video because we've already gone too long, way too long. Hopefully this uploads more blending in the next one. Thanks for watching.